Welcome back, guys, to This and Much More. I'm Evelyn, and my co-host is
Rollie Vogues.
And today our special guest is
Floyd Mendoza.
Floyd Mendoza. What's your Instagram handle?
Mendoza.creates.
Oh yeah, Mendoza Creates. Yeah, because whenever we met at hip hop, it was hip hop, right? Yeah. I was like, Mendoza Creates, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, it's weird, dude.
That's funny. Like whenever you do the whole the Instagram handle instead of the real name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that a lot. That's why people call me like Mendoza and everything. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
But I like that though. I think the last name would be cool, like Mendoza. Like, oh, what's up, Mendoza? You know?
Yeah.
But then that feels like you know, like when people call you by your last name, like
yeah, dude,
like an army thing.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
like, it's not that deep.
I'm going list and everything.
Well, what would they call you, Morales? Because they would do that at the school whenever you were working there.
I hated that. It was
what would they
Miss
tell you?
Luna.
No, they would tell you. One person would tell you by, I see like Luna.
Oh yeah, Morales, and I'm just like, ugh, I didn't like it. Yeah, that's right. You're right. I didn't like it because I was just like, you know my girl, you know my name. Don't be calling me by my last. Or just add the miss
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
welcome to the podcast, bro.
Yes.
We're very happy to have you on. You know, we're gonna talk about everything that you do, but I do want to bring up, just to start off, I saw you post like a while ago. You posted I don't know if it was a story or I don't know if it was like an actual post. I see like that you used to work at the railroads.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah. I worked there 3 years. Yeah,
3 years, yeah. And I feel like you had in there in the little caption or whatever you talked about, like taking that leap and quitting that to do what you do today.
Yeah.
Right. So I just want to let you know that I screenshotted that.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's because I always bro, and a lot of no, but it's because a lot of people I like seeing like when they post their story or whatever, you know, I always screenshot it and it's kind of like inspiration or I take it like to kind of intertwine it with my story and see like how I can relate to stuff like that.
Definitely.
You know, so
yeah, no, well, I'm glad that.
Yeah, bro, that's pretty cool, bro. So if you don't mind, like, let's talk about that, like,
how for sure.
Yeah, you started working at railroads or what was that?
Yeah, dude. So I did not plan on working there, bro. First off, I mean,
how long ago was this?
This was, man, it's been 3 years since
you quit.
Like it's crazy, but it really like I talked about it on Puts or with Flacco and everybody, but so I guess I'll backtrack a little bit, but my story really kind of happened whenever I graduated high school. So like, and I'm not trying to get in detailed with it, but like just one thing after another, I had a scholarship, turned it down, and then before I knew it, I'm like just kind of doing what everybody else is doing, you know, working a job, trying to make college work, and then lost my house during Harvey, and I'm 19 years old, you know, having to figure out where you know what I'm saying, like how to, you know, make money, you know,
survive and shit.
Yeah, and then the whole time I was like painting, doing stuff like that, and then, you know, it was like about a year of just doing that, and I'm just like, you know, dude, like I need something steady, so I dropped out of college, and then first thing that came up was, you know, hey, like $15 working on the railroads, man, and so I picked that up, and I mean, it was good, man. It taught me, it really forced me to grow up, you know, and like I said, like I don't regret it, but I signed up and, you know, I was working there 3 years, and it's hard work, bro. Like very physical and everything, but it taught me how to grow up, you know, and luckily that kind of opened the door for me to kind of, like I said, like we talked about earlier, like, you know, marry my wife and just kind of get that foundation for me to kind of do what I'm doing today. And yeah, man, I mean, it was 3 years of just doing that. And
so whenever you quit that job, you were already married.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot to it, man. I kind of skimmed over it, man, but like I think about it now. Actually, I was thinking about it on the way up here, man. I'm just like, yo, it seems like I went through a lot in just a short period of time. You know, because
and sometimes it happens like that.
It seems that way though.
Yeah, sometimes you're just like, oh my God, it's only been 4 weeks and all this stuff has happened to me in my life, and you're just like not wanting to get stuck there.
Exactly. You know? Yeah, and to be honest, man, like, so that kind of happened, but if it wasn't for the pandemic too, and that was another thing that happened, you know, so just whenever like I said, like I got on the railroads and I knew I didn't want to be there, but I'm like, you know what, bro, like it puts a roof over our head. Like I can come home every day and know I worked hard for my money, and you know what I'm saying, like I have my wife, and it was like a happy life, you know, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. I can do this for another 10 years or whatever. But it wasn't until the pandemic happened that, like, you know, work started slowing down. And that's when I'm like, hey, I remember I could paint. You know, I can be creative. And so I started selling paintings to make extra money. And, I mean, it wasn't yeah, I think about it now. I'm like, dang, you know, that's super cheap, bro. I'm doing portraits of like for $100. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, but I was just trying to make extra money, you know, just to, you know, do what I got to do. And then when that happened, I actually got an offer for another job to work oil and gas. And so that's kind of where like things kind of like started like changing my direction. And so I ended up working oil and gas, like going under those like tanker cars, connecting the, what do you call that? The like the tubes to the big tanks, and then like the gas would flow through it. And so I was doing that, man. It was good money. And you know, but my boss was 24 and I was like 22, so we just clashed heads. And then just one day, you know what I'm saying, just stuff happened, and like he wanted me to throw a lot of other people under the bus, and I was a part of that group. So I guess one night it was like work was slow. People were calling out in the you know, like during the pandemic, and people were calling out. They were like, "Oh yeah, I'm sick. I have COVID," and so like we're shorthanded, and my boss is 24, right? And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, like he did this one thing too, where he was like, he went on the radio. He's like, "Hey, I need everybody to get to work." And I look, my coworkers like in their 50s, you know, 54, doing the same thing I'm doing, and I remember like I was like, yo, this is like, there's something wrong with that, you know? Like I come from the railroads, bro. Like you see somebody like with the hammer swinging and he just gets tired, you go and you spike that nail, you pick up the slack. You don't tell them, you don't question them, like, hey, why aren't you working, you know? And so I went into that company thinking that's the same mentality. And so this guy, he wanted the radio, hey, we need to pick up production, we need to do this, and just didn't sit right. And so I went on my lunch break and I told him like, yo, do you need to put your uniform out there and freaking go out there and work with us? And he freaking did. And I remember the 50-year-olds were all looking at me like, dude, you check them, all this stuff. But I feel like that kind of put a mark on me, you know, like, this kid made me look stupid. And so anyways, one of the nights we were kind of slow. And then, or pretty much my boss, or I guess in between him and the 24-year-old, he was like, hey, y'all just kind of, you know, stay out of sight. And, you know what I'm saying, like, you're all good. Yeah, just chill out. And so a lot of us went to our cars. We sat there and just slept, you know, through the night while we were on the clock. And it was wrong, man, right? But there's no work. You know, there's no work.
But that's so normal, though. Like,
it is normal.
Yeah, it happens.
I feel like I see it all the time with people that work at the plants. Oh, easy money and blah,
Your
blah,
brother
blah.
Just did it.
I know. My brother, he's in Tampico.
Oh, word?
At the oil rigs.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Making that money, huh?
They posted his picture and he was like asleep.
Oh, my God.
Taking turns, I guess.
Yeah, that's when all the guys like show up at the house, man. I'm so tired, you know, like tired of sleeping.
It's hard work too, man. Like, no, believe it or not, just to be there. I remember like I said, like I kind of skimmed over a lot, man. But just I remember those nights, bro. Like when I was working that job, I remember they switched crews, and all of a sudden I'm having to spend Christmas there, like at the job, while my family's out, and it's just that's kind of where like the journey really happened for me. I'm just like, man, do I really want to do this? Like,
it's like a mental exhaustion.
No,
right?
honestly, bro. Like I used to. I'm like fucking. This is too much for me. No, but like I used to be an electrician, bro. So it's like I worked as an electrician for like 4 years, I think. Before that, I was building like electrical. I wasn't like in the assembly line, like building like electric shit, right? And that's how I got into electrical work. So working around these people, I just knew since high school I wanted to be a creative. Like I used to be into music and graphic design and video photography, all this shit, right? But then I knew this is like that, bro. It's like, oh, labor work is what's gonna pay the bills. You know, we had just got married, and then she was pregnant, and then we had our kid. You know, and then, but the work was like, it's just the people that was around me, bro. Like they were just like talk shit. They were saying racist remarks and waking up early. Negative. Yeah, waking up early to drive over there just to, you know, get bitched at or whatever. Or, you know, say some dumb shit to me. I'll be like this is not. It pays good, you know, but I can't be here type shit, you know.
Yeah, so. No, like you feel like it, like you know. And I always felt the same way, bro. I did not belong there. You know, I always, like, it was weird, but like I know I was like a construction worker. I was like this and that, but I was still creative. You know, I would take a book to work. I would read it. You know, and people would like mess with me. Oh, mira, all this stuff. You know, but it's just like, bro, like you just gotta feed yourself. You know, like I always knew that this was something I'm gonna. Yeah,
because I feel like that's where you people that work labor or any job that they don't like, I feel like that's where they realize if they're meant to be there or if they're meant to do some other shit, you know, porque that's when I was like, all right, like I know there's like you said, like there's a 50-year-old guy or whatever, you know, they've been doing it for years. So it's like, they'll tell you like, nah, it's part of the job, man. Like, get used to it. Or
some people just genuinely like labor work.
Yeah, but
because not everybody can be a creative, you know. Like, being a creative is just like,
bro, it's full time, man. It's more hours than anything. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like, but I think at the same time too, man. Like, I look on it now. It's like, man, I'm grateful for those times. You know, busting my ass for money like that. You know, like you have to go through something like that to really appreciate where you are today. Yeah. And like I said, I think you guys are on a good track to doing that, you know, and I hope.
I appreciate that.
Like I said, like the more stuff that comes your way, bro. Like, and like that's been the story for me.
Yeah,
you know?
and you know, like sometimes, like, you know, I guess for you guys, working the labor jobs, it's part of your story.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, so like.
Yeah, and it's good to have under your belt too, porque imagine if you were just like, if you did the painting stuff like from the beginning, you know, I feel like people would be like, easy money, huh? Like they say, like, and I'm like, bro, I used to bust my ass, you know, like.
Oh yeah, dude.
So question, whenever you have like a problem in your house or like something, do you hire somebody or you fix it yourself?
I do it myself. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless it's like some electricals. All right. Because my dad's an electrician too, and so unless it's like some of that, I've been shocked so many times, like with him. Like he's been, he would tell me, "Hey, go change out that outlet," and I'll go, I'll like shock myself. I'm like, oh, and he like starts like, I got you this and that and stuff. So.
No, yeah, because there's a difference, right? Like we're people that, I think I want to get to the point in my life where if we had to fix something, you wouldn't have to do it. We could just hire somebody.
Yeah, but it's good that I know how to do it.
It's good, bro.
Yeah,
believe it or
Yeah.
not, man. I know some people who are like, oh my god, they can't even change a tire, you know, and it's like, like what the heck? How do you live? You know, how do you survive? You know, so
like the survival skills aren't there.
Yeah, and then one might think like, oh, I don't have to like ever change a tire, you know. But it's happened so many times that I'm just like, fuck. Like the emergency time, like I'm not gonna lie, I got humbled. We had just got the truck, the black truck that's outside, and we were on the way to Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And they were gonna close the border at 6, and we were leaving like.
Late.
Like we're like, oh, we'll get there like 5, like, you know, and then we get like a massive, like, not even like a flat, but the tire exploded, right?
Exploding.
I'm like, fuck. And then I'm like there I was sweating, bro. It was like, it was on the freeway.
You gotta jack that thing.
Yeah, but I'm like,
was it the day that the weekend we were doing Alegres Milagros? It must have been, right?
I think so.
We do a toy drive, right?
Okay.
And then, but I hide a bunch of toys like in our truck because you can only pass. Like,
you're right. So
the truck was filled
in the back, and then you know with the trucks you have to like bring out like these little, it's like a long ass thing, and you do it through the back to bring down that tire. So I'm like, man, where the fuck is all this stuff at? You know, because I hadn't looked through nothing.
And I'm like, I moved it.
You're like, oh, I moved it. It's under the toys. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like moving shit. I'm sweating, bro. I'm texting my dad. I'm not gonna make it. You know, whatever. I don't know, bro.
They were like, just stay at the border, and we're like, fuck no.
Yeah. So I got humbled, but luckily, you know, and then llegó on like a tow truck, you know.
Oh, that's.
But then he helped me like change the tire. I know how to change the tire, but having it been a truck or a new truck, I was like, I don't know where the hell, like where all this stuff is at, you know, man, like.
But the guy, he didn't want to get the guy's help because he didn't want the guy to charge him, and the guy was like,
"Nah, I got it, bro."
Dude, they'll charge you, bro. Like,
I
had my dad's like old truck one time, and like the radiator like exploded, and I'm like, oh, dude, I need to tow. Dude, he charged him like $80 just to take it like down the street.
For real?
Like,
yeah, no, but this guy,
because I was like, I'm good, and then he's like, nah, man, I'm with the city, like you're chill. Yeah, I'm free. I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah, because if not, we would have just been like, no, we're going to Mexico,
like,
dude.
Yeah.
I was gonna turn around and everything, but we ended up going all the way.
We made it to Mexico.
And then we got a tire over there.
And then in Mexico we bought a tire.
Okay.
So we could bring that like as a. No,
like,
the one we put on, they took it off. They gave us like a brand new tire.
Okay.
And then the replacement one, they gave it back to us so we could bring it back just in case,
That's
you know.
cool.
But
that's funny. We're just talking about tires and shit.
Heck yeah.
But point is, sometimes you do have to go through stuff. But I liked what you said earlier, that sometimes you have to feed yourself. And that's true because like I was telling him, how is your wife whenever you're like going through like a moment, like a mental thing that you're just like, fuck, like what are we going to do? Or do you feel like you don't really have that or go through that?
Dude, I go through that like every day. I'm like, but like she's a real good listener, you know, and like I feel like I'm always talkative, and when we argue sometimes I'm like, I'll just why don't you say something? You know, you get quiet, you know, but it's like, I think it's good because she's like kind of like a sponge, you know, she'll take it. And a lot of times, man, I just realize I'm like, all right, dude, like I'll figure it out on my own. But the fact that she just sits there, listens, and she's like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you take a break? Why don't you do this? And like, just, she doesn't have to say a lot, dude, but that's like, I noticed that's helped me a lot, you know?
Yeah. And
another thing too, like, whenever I started kind of like becoming an artist, so I got fired from that job, right?
From the oil and gas.
The oil, because he found out and he was like, oh, was it just you? Was it like other people? And I'm like, bro, like the other guys are like in their 50s. Like, what are they going to do if you fire them? You know, like,
yeah.
And so I just took I was like, nah, it was just me. And so I took it, and like they went through this whole thing, and people came out like, oh, I was sleeping, I was this, but like they just fired me. And so like at that time I was like, man, dude, like what am I going to do? You know, like, and I'm like, you know what, dude, like I started selling paintings. I'm like, you know, I'm just going to take a jump on that, you know?
Mm-hmm. And what did she say? And
so the point I was trying to make is I kind of went up to her and I was like, hey, like I'm thinking about this art thing. Like, I'm going to make a jump. Like, what do you think? And she's like, yeah, you can do it. And I talked about this on Flacco's podcast, but dude, she was making like $1,600 a month, dude, at the time. And our apartment was like $1,200. Car note was $300. And you know what I'm saying? We like, so I always say this though, like a lot of people tell me like, you grew up quick, bro. Like you came out of nowhere, bro. And like, you're doing good. You're getting jobs. And it's like, nah, dude, like from the moment I made this jump, like, bro, I was buying groceries. I was, you know what I'm saying, paying bills. I was like, you know, we were eating off of it. And so I had no choice but to like make this work. And I think that it sucks, and I don't recommend that for anybody, like any creative. I'm like, hey, you need to just cut it off. But sometimes, man, it's probably like, if that's your only option, like it's gonna work, you know, you have to make it work. And I think that's what my wife, she kind of told me. She's like, you know what, like we're good, just take the jump. And meanwhile, I'm in the back of my head, I'm like this has to work, you know. So for her to say that, and now like I mentioned earlier, like she hasn't had to work a job in like a year and a half, you know, because of, and it comes full circle, you know. You just gotta ride it out. And
how long do you feel like it took you? Because I'm assuming you didn't have savings. When you got fired. We had
a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
We had about like I mean, luckily, like we weren't stupid with our money. Like we bought our car cash. We had 2 vehicles. We had a car note, and then we had about like 20 grand in the bank, which is, it's good.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a good amount.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that I'm, you know what I'm saying, like the situation we were in, it was like, bro, like a year, dude, we'll be on the streets, you know, like we'll be living with our parents and stuff. But yeah, no, that was kind of where we were at. So luckily, like I said, like we saved up enough, and I think that's why she kind of felt a little bit more confident. She's like, all right, like give it a couple months, we'll see where we are, and we'll reset and stuff.
And was one of your options like, okay, I'll go find another job if it doesn't work out?
Yeah, I mean, I love my family, dude, but I was getting like offers, because like, and it's weird, man, but like a lot of times, man, like I was like, you know what, dude, like, I just gotta make it work. And I think after that, it was real important, because like when you make decisions like that it's just like, oh, like, man, like you never know what's gonna work. It's almost like, and I say this a lot, like when it comes to like being a creative, being like working for yourself, a lot of it is kind of like you guys drive at night, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like the headlights, right? You could only see like what's in front of you, and that's exactly what kind of my whole career has been. You know, it's like I only know the next step. And I remember whenever I got fired, I had like 3 paintings. I'm like, all right, if I do these real quick this week, that's $300. You know, we'll be good. We'll, you know what I'm saying? And so I was just doing it week by week. And I remember there was this one week where I was like, oh my gosh, dude, like we need money. You know what I'm saying? Like it was getting rough. And then all of a sudden, like a wreck I had gotten into like 2 years before the I guess the settlement came in. It was like, oh, $500. Oh, cool, we're good. You know. So, but it's like it's been like that, bro. Like a lot of times you may not have it all figured out, and like the more you plan, the more it's probably not gonna work out that way, you know. And so that's kind of been my thing, you know. It's just like you only know the next step, and once you take that step, like you'll see another opportunity and all that stuff. And that's kind of been my thing.
No, honestly, bro, I relate like a lot of the things that you're saying is like things that we go through, you know. So it's like I don't know, like everything you just said, I'm just like, man, that's so wild, you know. Like because like I don't know if I'm gonna say on here, but talking about like taking the leap and all that, like I know my mom, she's the one that would be like, are y'all doing it? Can y'all make it? You know, do y'all have enough? So it almost makes you feel like you're like, damn, like did I fuck up? You know, like,
or it's like they're planting, she was planting the doubt seed.
Yeah, so it's like,
you
it's
know?
constantly there, and I'm just like, man, did I fuck up? Did I, you know, because we took the leap one time, you know,
and it did not work out.
yeah, and it didn't work out. But I mean, I look back now and I'm like, man, I took that early, you know, or I really didn't have anything crazy going on, you know, like
mentally we weren't ready to do that.
And so it's like it's always a timing thing también. So it's like some people might have taken the jump first, and then early, and then didn't work out, and they're like, oh, it's not meant for me, you know.
Yeah, it's like when Jesse said the whole $1 million thing, that he's
like if you would have gave my 20-year-old version of me $1 million, he'd like probably not take care of it as much as I would now at 30. You know what I mean? So it's all a timing thing. But all that like stuff, just being able to control like your ¿cómo se dice? Your fear, you know, like, and just kind of keep that low, you know, and just keep it in your head. I see like, no, I gotta make this shit happen, work. And we just talked about, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but we just talked about it on the way to get all the candies.
To our plug.
Oh, shit.
Our plug.
Yeah, you gotta share that with me.
She was like, it's crazy that me telling you stuff or like supporting stuff about like the creative side of things. She's like, it's crazy how me hyping you up isn't enough. And I'm like, what do you mean, right? It kind of pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, I did.
It kind of pissed me off when she said that, but I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, porque I could tell you like, oh, babe, we got this. You know, we can do this like with the creative shit. And she's like, but it's not enough for you. It's not until you talk to June or you talk to so-and-so that you come back and you're like, man, they just hype me up. You know, like even right now, bro, like it's inspiring, you know, it's like a very like inspiring talk.
Nah, I appreciate that.
But I tell her, I'm like, it's not that you're not, it's not enough, you know. It's more of me and her can go back and forth and hype each other up. Like, nah, babe, you got this. You know, is we know what we're capable of, but it's not until the people outside looking in tell you something, that's when it's like okay, they outside looking in, it's like they see it, you know. So
it's different, dude. Like like I think what you guys have going on, like, and the fact that you guys are doing this together, you know, like a lot of times it's always like one or the other, right? And so that was another reason why, like, I told my wife, I'm like, because she was at a job, and man, you know, like we had come up big time, you know. She was at a job, she got promoted, did all this stuff, but she was at a job, she was like, oh, I'm so stressed out, she didn't have time. And so I was like, you know what, dude, like, you took that leap on me, like, let me take a leap on you. And it has to be like that, you know, especially being married and being creatives like you guys are. Like, I mean, I'm still new to this game, bro. I'm 26, right? Like, I don't know if that's old or so young, but it's, bro, like it like, you know what I'm saying, like success in my book, like to me, man, the fact that you guys are here doing this together, that's, you guys are winning, you know. And that's like, think about it, there's like plenty of other people who don't get to do this or won't ever do that, you know. And it's like, and that's not to say to be like, oh, content, be happy where you are. Like, nah, like I'm super competitive. I'm like, to be honest, the last piece is like my worst, like, how do I say it? Like, I heard this saying where it's like the last success that you experience could be your what is it? It's a saying. It's like the last success that you had could be your worst enemy, or like it could hurt you more than it helps you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can kind of stay there in that success and you won't grow.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I can see what you're saying.
Almost like that's like the top, like that's like the most you'll ever be or something.
And that's why it'll be like your enemy, because you're supposed to top that. But if you think that that's your top, then you're just gonna be like, oh, that was dope, and then thinking that that's the most dope piece you can do, right? Like that?
And so it always has to be like that. But at the same time too, like I don't know, we're getting deep, bro. Like,
no, you know, honestly, right now, I'm just I do this thing where I explain certain situations with like imagery, right? So like right now, I'm thinking, like, let's say like your job or whatever, this steady money is like this big ass boat, right? I'm just thinking like this, how I picture it. It's like a big boat. You're gonna take this dive into the ocean porque acá te vas a encontrar like this big island or something, right? And you're like, oh, that island could be mine. That's like success over there. But if you know that this boat is like, hey, whenever, if you can't swim all the way, then just know you can come back. Like, you can get on this boat and just be chill, right? That's how I see it. Is like, if I know that boat is constantly there, I'm always gonna be like, I'm fine. If I can't make it, I'm just gonna go right back, you know. But it's like, if you get rid of that boat and it's like you're stranded out there, you have no choice but to like just swim all the way over there, you know. So it's like, that's how I'm picturing the whole.
You ever heard the saying of burn the ships? Bro, man, dude, it's been a while. I need to pick up reading again, but I read this book and it was talking about how there was like this general, or like this leader, captain or whatever, and there was like an island, right? And he had all his soldiers like on this ship, and they were sailing to go conquer the island, right? And so I guess there was like soldiers on the island that were like, they found out that those
you can finish that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be quick. But they found out that the soldiers were coming, so they had a bunch of men ready, like, to fight, all that stuff. And so the guys on the ship, they saw that, like, oh man, like, they're getting ready, like, they know we're coming. They're like, hey, just turn the ship around. And so, anyways, like, I guess they landed, and some of the guys got out there like, hey, we're not gonna go. Like, y'all need to load the ship back up. We're going. And so before the captain or whatever, before he even talked to his men, he lit the ship on fire. He's like, no. He's like, look, either we die, we go through here, we take on these men or whatever, or like, that's it. And so sure enough, I forgot how it ended, but I think they ended up winning or something like that.
Okay, so the point was like, he was like, no, we gotta burn. Like, basically burning the ship was like, no, your option is the only option.
Exactly.
Is go fucking fight.
And
or
so
something.
I take that to everything I do to this day. It's just like, you know, bro, like, all right, I'm not going back. You know, we just got to go forward. Even if it's like I come like a circle, I'm still moving forward. You know, if that makes sense.
But, that makes sense. I know what you mean, though. We'll be back, guys.
Yes, sir.
And we are back from a major brainstorm.
Brainstorming break.
We were brainstorming off camera. So going back, I guess, into you took the leap, you know, 3 years later, and now you're doing this full time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So how is it like? Tell me what a normal day looks for you when you wake up.
Dude, so man, it's 24/7. If I'm being honest, man, like, well, I'll just say about today. So today was like kind of one of those days where I kind of took off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I have like 3 projects going on right now. So I have one in Pasadena, which I'll invite you guys. I think they're having a soft opening on Thursday. It's right here, like off Spencer, Tri-City. By Mamacitas.
Is that the one that's the Alivio? Or no, the one that was in front of Break Free?
No, it was, but they moved, right? They moved to over there.
Oh, okay, because I saw their man, but they were over there, right? Because they used to do markets.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's the one that I told you.
Oh wait, is that the one that June was telling me about?
Yeah.
Oh
that
shit.
Space, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're doing some work
June's
for them?
cool with them. Yeah. So they're gonna open up pretty soon.
Oh,
so
dope.
I have that. I got to do that tomorrow. But back to like, I guess like my day. So I kind of chilled out because I did a project up in Cyprus this week. It was like a beauty salon. She wanted like graffiti and all this stuff, like pink stuff. So I did that this week. But other than that, when I'm not like painting, like projects and stuff, I'm always doing like designs. So right now I have like 3 designs. So I'm either doing designs like for murals, like submitting them, or I'm doing what is it? I'm driving to the job sites, like, all right, getting measurements, getting quotes, responding to emails, responding to. So it's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work. Yeah.
It's a lot more, and I know like my Instagram's like pretty dry. It's like, oh, he just paints walls and like what, but to be honest, like it's a lot of work, and like I said, it's like when I told you, it's full time. You know, like if somebody would have told me like I'd be working this much when I had a job, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna just chill here. You know, like
yeah. And it always happens like that, like where you think that you're working a 9 to 5, but then in reality you become your own boss and you're working 24/7.
Yeah, but honestly, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know, like I mentioned earlier, I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. You know, and it's like I signed up for it. You know, I might as well take everything that comes with it.
And do you feel like you wake up happy?
Oh yeah, dude. I don't know about now because like I sleep in because of time change. I'm already all like, what the heck, you know?
Time change was a few weeks ago.
No, tell me about it, dude. I've been late to like 3 jobs like
Oh,
like
no.
since then I'm like, oh my gosh. Most of the time I'm always like 15 minutes early. I'm always like on time, but I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know why, but
it's the artist in
yeah.
you.
I think I ran myself like over the past few months. I've just been so like in it, you know, because
Yeah.
I did a job in Beaumont and that set me back like 3 weeks, dude. And so that was the way that went about, man. It was like I had a little wall, and then they're like, hey, we think that design would look good, dope on this big wall, and this wall's like, oh my god, I don't know. I'll show y'all like a picture later, but it just set me back like a couple weeks. So I'm just trying to catch up. I was actually going to Austin doing another big wall, and it's like, oh my gosh, dude, it's just a lot.
So how long does it take to get like a wall done?
I mean, it depends on the design, you know.
Oh, okay. So it's based off the design, not the size?
Exactly. Well, and like, I mean,
Or both.
I guess my style is pretty diverse. You know, I can do some realistic stuff, like like portraits, and I actually love that stuff, man. To be honest, like I'll bang out a portrait. I'm actually doing one on Monday on the Channel 2. So if you guys want to wake up early, check me out. So
on Channel 2?
Yeah, I don't even know. I think KRPC,
I don't even know.
KPRC. I don't know, something like that.
We don't own cable like that.
Yeah, it's right. It's free, dude. No?
What?
I don't know.
Like,
you know,
antenna or what?
you know, dude, just connect the folio and everything.
You know, my TV, our TV. I don't even know if we have channels like that.
Yeah,
sometimes we get to that
through Amazon.
Sometimes we get to that menu, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Where's Netflix at? You know?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Amazon.
I think somebody will watch it. I don't know, so we'll
I mean, I'm pretty sure
that's
people
cool,
post it.
yeah. But anyways, yeah, so like I love portraits and all that, but I guess like it kind of like for me, I think how I compete kind of in the market, like with like murals, because there's so much talent here, you know. There's so many talented like muralists, like, and so like with me being like newer to like the scene, like I've only been here like in the scene like 3 years. I
don't seem like it's new to you, bro. Like it's really good work, you know.
I appreciate it. No, I mean I've always been an artist. I just it's hard when I say that. It's hard to like kind of market myself, right? And so my style is kind of like, and I'm still figuring out my style, like as to, you know, as I travel and I get better. I want to see how I compete, you know, like in the country and in the world. Yeah. But right now I know in Houston, like I try to reach like a different like when people tell me, oh, my budget's only this, all right, well, I can do outlines, I can do solid colors, if we do blocks. But if people are like, hey, my budget's a little healthier, like, all right, dude, let me do more portraits, let me do some realism in there and like more colors and so, and then also too, like I like to work with people who just like I said, are just like everyday people, you know, because most of the time, like I get hit up every day just for something like, hey, can you do this, can you do that, and it's cool enough, but I always try to like keep my or how do I say it, my calendar full with just work and, you know, just to keep me busy and keep me steady.
And if you don't mind me asking, what's been like your biggest paid job?
Well, I'll tell you, it's about 20 grand, and the job was about like 7 days, 12-hour days. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's not always like that, bro. Trust me, you know. But it's like some of the healthier budgets, like I'm able, and like it comes full circle. You know?
What's like the average budget?
Average is like, depends, like 1,500 to about 5. That's the normal. Like, all right, hit up a wall.
And you provide everything.
Well, I include it in the budget. You know, so like if somebody, hey, I want this, I want that, I go and I charge by the square footage. So say like a 10-foot by 10-foot wall. All right, that's like 100 square feet. So say I charge I charge anywhere between 15 to 25. Okay. So 25 being like portraits, realism, like, you know, stuff like that. But $10.
But the good thing is that you already have like your budget.
How long did that take you to like have ready to go? Like I'm pretty sure when you started you were like you didn't know what to charge or whatever.
Yeah. So that was another thing too, and I think it takes some time. Like if you're an artist or wherever, you just gotta kind of test the waters. You know, Houston's a different market than LA. It's a different market than New York and, you know, Miami. So it's like I feel like if I were to go to Miami, I'll charge a little bit more because the scene's a little bit more known for art and people go there specifically for like artwork. And now Houston, like I talked about it a little bit on Flacco's thing. Is like if it's not like Houston trendy, you know, H-Town slabs, all that stuff. Like it's kind of like you know, if it's something different. So it's kind of hard to put a price on it. But I guess to answer your question, it took me about a year just asking other artists, and some people are always saying like, oh, you're undervaluing, oh, you're charging cheap, you're hurting all of us because you're charging cheap, you're taking jobs. And
I was gonna tell you, were they really
it's
like
some people say that, but honestly, man, like I think it's where I feel like right now, it's paying my bills, it's doing this, and eventually, as my portfolio gets busier, as I work with these different companies, like it'll go up, every year. Like my buddy Donkey Boy mentioned, he's like, every year your prices need to go up, and so I mean, right now I think that's fair. It keeps me busy. I'm like,
and you're charging based off your experience and everything, right?
Yeah, based off of like, man, like my failures, like, oh shoot, like I've done a lot of jobs where I'm like, bro, this is not enough, but a lot of times, like, it's like a learning experience, you know? So, yeah.
Dang. Have you ever had a job where they're just like, the finished product and they're just like, what is this? Or they're always happy?
I think for the most part, they've always been happy. It's mainly been like little stuff, like canvases. It's like mainly little stuff. But as far as like murals, I always get a design beforehand. I always like figure out what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
So if it's like a little portrait, like, oh, can you make it's most like, no offense, ladies, but it's always like about the lady, like, oh, my eyes don't look like that, my lips are bigger, and I'm like, it looks just like the picture, girl. Like what are you talking about?
Honestly, that's why I don't like the caricatures.
That's happened to me before, because I used to do them like digitally, right?
Over, yeah.
And then I remember I did this one job, and bro, I did so many changes. I'm like,
remember the girl that was like a girl, and they wanted you to make her hips smaller.
No, bigger.
What'd you think?
Smaller waist, bigger hips.
Oh yeah, smaller waist, bigger.
I'm like, it looks just like.
And it's so funny because he told me, he's like, look, I'm gonna send them this, and they're gonna tell me smaller waist, bigger hips, and that's literally what the guy said.
Nice. So you draw or what?
Yeah, like well, I used to do like digital like illustrations or whatever back in the day, but I kind of like stepped away from that, and now I do like the designs you see on Instagram, like that's kind of like my
that's all you
like my go-to.
Dude, sick, bro. We need to put that on the wall someday. One of your little things. I'll put your little Instagram on there. Yeah,
bro, it'd be crazy,
Chris,
bro.
you
like
need to make one of those of yourself.
Of myself?
Yeah, because he said that everybody's like,
who said?
Chris.
Of myself?
Yeah, because he's like, man, he's so important.
Oh, it's because we go to farmers market,
okay.
And then it's already happened twice that people want to take a picture with me.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So he's like, hey, everybody wants a picture with you. I'm like, nah, chill, bro.
Yeah, they pull up and they're like, oh, where's Rollie or whatever, and I'm like, oh, whatever, and then Rollie pulls up and then they're like, can we take a picture with you? And I told Chris, I'm like, everybody wants to take a picture with Roland, but not with me.
I'm just gonna get a cutout, I'm gonna get a cutout and just put it out there and shit, But nah, bro, like honestly, like it's just like doing all the work that you do, it's like I do have I guess my question is like, what's the process? So it's like from getting the job to like finished product, like how does that usually go for you?
So it's about 3 steps. So I know like the people will hit me up, hey, I want this, I want that.
Is it usually them hitting you up, or like you go out looking for projects too?
I mean, it depends. Like the bigger budget ones, like luckily, like people kind of like, hey, you should apply for this, you should do that, right?
So you apply for it?
Yeah, there's some jobs like you gotta
you're bidding on it or something.
Yeah, like you can bid, especially when it comes to like sports teams and like for stuff for the city. You can. I haven't really won much of that because like I'm fairly new, and a lot of times like like I don't know how it works, but the judging's kind of like you never know who's gonna pick you, right?
Yeah.
And so you can do that, and then also too for the bids too, like, so I guess the steps are like kind of 3. So the first one, they hit me up and I go and I try to get the square footage. I'm like, all right, like what are you wanting? And it's different. Like my murals are different than like I don't really do so much like of the portraits, like canvas work or anything, most of it right now it's kind of like I'm not taking any because of it's a lot.
You mean like small scale? Or what do you mean? Okay.
Yeah, so like canvases are a little bit different. I have a different like pricing on that. But I think as far as like murals is so I charge by the square footage.
Yeah.
I go and then I figure out what they're wanting, and then I sometimes ask like, hey, well, what's your budget? Because a lot of times like I get hit up for like people who are starting businesses, so I know the last thing when they have everything, it's like the last thing that, oh, this wall's empty, I need something. And so it's like I know the money's not necessarily like full scale, so I always try to work with them, you know, like whether like it's in the design or something, like, hey, maybe you can hook it up with like You know, like a lot of times, a lot of gyms hit me up, and I'm like, oh, hey, give me like 2 months free of like working out. So, you know, like
yeah.
Just like I always try to.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you know this person? This person?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's my boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he did the job at where I work
Mm-hmm.
as Deb's husband.
Okay.
Mark. Shout out
Yeah,
Mark.
you should have him on.
Yeah. And so I always see like, you know, when she'll post him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I always wondered like how the big jobs came, but I guess you submit, right?
Well, there's some
Depending.
of them. Some of them you submit. So like I'll tell you about the one, like the big budget one. So that one came from a job I was doing. Like my friends like, hey, let's just go paint, have a paint jam. People are just gonna come through, check it out. And so the lady approached me and she's like, hey, like I love your stuff. Like you know, why don't you just apply for this? And I'm like, all right. And I ended up getting selected for it. And I'm like, word, bro, like that's cool, you know. Like,
did you celebrate? Because you needed to celebrate.
I did, but as soon as I was like, nah, bro, I kind of needed the money right then and there, so I was like, but yeah, no, it comes full circle. Like a lot of different jobs like that, you know. And luckily, I'm in a position where it's like it's a little bit more than just the money now. You know, now it's like, all right, where am I gonna go? You know, what makes me different than the other artists? Because like I said, man, there's so much talent like in the city, like as far as like muralists and all that, and I feel like I'm kind of like, man, like you know what I'm saying, like I'm trying to like scale it a little bit bigger, and not so much like for my profit or like I need to be successful, but it's like I kind of owe it to our city, you know. Like I talked about it a little bit with Flacco. It's like I feel like we're kind of dry, bro. Like when you think of like culture and like stuff that's like modern now, you think of like people who in like in New York and you know what I'm saying, like LA and all these other cities, and it's like, well, like Houston has that too, you know. Like why aren't we kind of getting noticed? And I kind of want to take that to other places, you know.
Do you feel like
no,
go ahead.
No. Well, mine's long.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's not that long, but no, you know, talking about that, it's kind of crazy, bro. So it's like you saying that it's kind of dry. I don't see it like that. Like I feel like, and I don't know. So a lot of the times that we have guests on here, like I'll be like, do you know this person? Do you know this? And they'll be like, nah, who's that? Nah, I don't know them. And I'm like, it's kind of crazy because I feel like I always say that we're in like in the middle of everything, like us personally, as a podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
Or even me, like just knowing about people, right? So I'll ask like, oh, do you know about Alpha Lee? And then like all these people, they're like, who's that? You know, and I'm like, well, Alpha Land, you know, the gym.
That's why when I asked you right now, I didn't want to say a name because there's been times that I ask like, oh, do you know so and so? And they're like, no. And I'm just like, oh, damn.
Yeah,
no,
so
it's all good.
But I'm like, all right, I feel like based off the people that we've talked to before, like I know certain people don't hang or they're not in the same circle of people. But whenever I look into what they're doing, they have a whole community over there, bro.
Yeah,
and then these people over here have a whole community. So I'm like, all right, it's not that it may be dry as a whole. Yeah. But when you go to different corners of Houston, like it's like, man, there's this whole ass thing that I did not know about, like, you know, like going on over here. And then, but then the outside circles, like, will suddenly, like, there's somebody that knows somebody over here, and that's how they're connected. So I'm just like, holy shit, like,
exactly,
you know what I mean? So it's, I see it. I know what you mean by like being dry. I feel like you mean that like as a whole, right?
Well,
or
I mean, I honestly, I'm probably gonna get some slack and probably get canceled. but no, when I say dry, I don't necessarily mean like, oh, like nothing's growing. But like, you know, a lot of times whenever I get asked to do like stuff, it's like it's very H-Town theme. You know, stuff from like 2000. And like, hear me out, bro. Like, bro, I'm with that. You know, the screwed up, everything. You know, but it's like a lot of times. But
there's more to that.
There's more to what we're doing. You know, now, and it's like there's so many dope artists. Like not even so much like me, dude, but like musicians and like there's so much creativity, and I think we need to put that at the front of.
Are you gonna go about Superior?
Yeah, a little bit. So it's like it's kind of I just met up with June like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
it was like 2 weeks ago. I was with June and we are talking, and then I was like, I've never dropped like a Houston shirt, bro. Yeah. You know, I've had my brand, the Superior, by the way. You know, I just dropped these on the website. You know? Check it out. But yeah, Superior as a brand hasn't grown. I've had it since 2015, and I feel like it's like, I honestly feel like I had not one of the first brands, but I feel like I was early stages brands back in 2015. now you see a lot of brands, right? Shout out everybody that like Slumped, Lavish, like all these brands that we're cool with all drop Houston shit. And I feel like that's what people just gravitate towards. I feel like that's why they're so successful. But because the culture is just so focused on all that shit,
and it's good, you know. And I say that, man. Shout out to those guys, bro. Like they're doing great, and there's some artists, bro, who are amazing, dude. Yeah. But I guess when I say that, I'm speaking on my behalf, right? Me being an artist in Houston, like I love my city, and honestly, man, like the stuff that I've seen, like the artists that I've hung out with, like 3 weeks ago, I was eating dinner with a guy from Austria and then another guy from Australia. And like the stuff that I'm hearing them talk about, like they have employees, they're artists like me, you know, they're painting a mural next to me. And it's like the stuff I hear them talking about, and I'm like, how? Yo, I'm from Houston. like how are y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? But it's a different mentality. And it's like in my opinion, like I said, like I apologize if I offend anybody, but like that's what I'm talking about. Like I want to take it as far as I can, because like I feel like I have a lot of people looking towards me, and it's up to me to go as far as I can for the next generation. Yeah. You know, because like my buddies Donkey Boy, Frankie, they've done that for me, and it's like I feel like I'm doing a disservice. And even if you're creative, bro, like we're getting deep, but like even if you're creative, bro, it's like you owe it to go a little bit further than the generation before you. You know. Yeah. Like as far as like the merchandise, you know, like the shirts and all that stuff, like. I look at like some of the stuff that's happening in New York. Like one of my favorite brands is like Aimé Leon Dior. I love their stuff, bro. I've been to every time I go to New York, I check out their store. But the stuff they're dropping, I'm like, I'm not seeing that in Houston at all, bro.
Yeah, or like, you feel like if it was to drop in Houston, it wouldn't
dude.
Hit, you know,
if that store was in Houston, like. Bro, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't and I don't know. And I guess that makes sense. But
you also feel like, I mean, not to offend anybody, right? But like, do you feel like we're just so close-minded? Like, in what, like, our culture should be? Like, you know, because I feel like Houston is just like, we're one of the biggest cities, right? Yeah. So it's like, why can't we represent that we're one of the biggest cities?
I think, you know? I don't think so much we're close-minded. I think it can also play, now that I'm thinking of it, it can also be to our benefit. We can like, Houston, syrup, all that stuff. But like, in my opinion, bro, there's so much creativity. You know, when you go to like LA, like the culture's so diverse, bro. There's so many different communities in that. Like, it's hard to just choose one. Like, there's like the surfing. And then, like I said, like I love my city, but I'm just trying to find a way, like how I can add value to it. You know, wherever I go, I can rep my city and just be like this is where I'm from.
Yeah, and then I still kind of want to use Slumped. You're familiar with Slump, right? Slump Boys?
Heard of, yeah.
Okay, so, you know, shout out Slump, shout out Caesar or whatever. But I just like to use them because they're the ones that are like the most, I think that's the biggest brand in Houston right now as far as like streetwear goes. Okay. So, but he's like very like Houston, right? Yeah. So it's like very, very Houston. So one might think like my brand like has minimal Houston in it, right? So my vision for my brand has always been like, all right, I want it to be bigger than Houston. I want people from LA, I want people from I don't know, Nashville, Tennessee, like to buy my shit. Like it's just you want it to be everywhere, right? But what he's been able to do is just like grow this big ass community in Houston. Yeah. And Hat Club is coming back to Houston, right? Yeah. So I think they're doing some sort of collab, right? So it's like these are things that can come out of like embracing your culture. So it's like you embrace your culture so much that an outside force, an outside brand might come in, like be like, hey, you know what? I kind of want to drop a purple shirt, a purple hat. Like Houston's where to go because that's like their whole deal. You know what I mean? So it's like it kind of makes it to where you're like, all right, if you're gonna do like a purple something because of purple drink or whatever, like Houston's where you're gonna go. That's where you're gonna find these people, and that's where they're the pros. That's the spot, you know, that's the spot to go to. Like
and I say all that, and I'm not. I hope I don't come off like I'm you know, but it's like I'm just kind of like from where I'm at as an artist, I'm always getting asked to do stuff that's like been done hundreds of times, and it's bro, like you're gonna get the best work. Like if I come to you and I'm like, and I give you everything you need to do, like it's not you. You know what I'm saying? Like I want if I'm gonna hire you, I want you to just run with it, bro. You know,
it's your style.
Exactly. And like as an artist, like that's some of the best stuff, some of the best work, and I'm proud of. Like you look at my Instagram, a lot of the stuff I post is because of stuff that I'm proud of. I do way more stuff than that, you know, but it's like, it's just stuff to pay the bills. It's just stuff to kind of get it. And like where I'm at a point now, and I guess you can hear it in my voice, but it's like I'm a little frustrated because it's like, bro, there's so much more to my city, and I feel like there's a shift right now, like as far as like, and I'm talking like as an artist, right? Like not so much as like as you know, as a whole, because I'm sure there's some people who are, you know, taking it to like, you know, you think of Mexican OT, bro, he's popping everywhere, right? And it's like, yo, he's repping our city and stuff, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I just get a little bit frustrated because it's like, you know, I've ate dinner with other artists, and it's like, bro, like our city,
they're living like a whole different life.
Dude, they're like, yeah, I'm going to Australia next week. Oh yeah, I'm going this and that, and it's like they're not so much stuck, but it's like I kind of want to do that, but at the same time too, like I know our city has that much talent, that much creativity, and it's like, why aren't we getting like the recognition, like as a whole? And at the same time too, dude, like I do think Houston is kind of coming up on the verge of like a lot. And like to me, I just kind of like, it's kind of like a surfer, right? Like the waves coming, you could kind of see it peaking, and it's like I just don't want to miss it. You know, as a creative, I kind of want to be at the front, because if it comes, you know, like I don't want to be just, all I know is how to do just this one thing. I want to be like kind of, you know what I'm saying, like riding.
Yeah, in a way, I do see it like, okay, maybe, yeah, you're saying like, oh, there's more to my city or whatever, but the way I'm seeing it is like there's more to you rather than the city. Like it's because there's some people that come to me, like brands and stuff, and they might be like, I'm thinking about doing like an astronaut. I'm thinking about doing, and I'm like, bro, like an astronaut, like for real, you know, like it's like you want to be able to. And I feel like honestly, like I know you say that we have a lot of eyes on us and stuff, like me and her, like personally, but I always tell her, I'm like, where the fuck are these people at? Like we have all these people that are viewing the podcast, or they follow us on IG or whatever, but when I drop something or whatever, like it's like, okay, where are these people at? Like I thought we had like a big community, you know, but not to say like, oh, I'm ungrateful. No, I'm very grateful for anybody that places orders with us or buys shit from us or whatever. But I'm like, I do these designs, and it's like people that aren't from here, and I'm like, I know that, and I'm like, I know that if I do a Mexican OT or a, you know, it could help me. But then I don't want to just be known as the Houston artist. That's the whole. That's same thing with my brand. Like I don't want to be the Houston brand. Like I want it to be bigger than that. Yeah. But that's where you got to put in way more work to reach these people outside of your own city. But at the same time, you want the people from your city to fuck with you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I think it's not so much that. I feel like you almost gotta like go. Like, how do I say it? You just got to add more value to yourself, and then show it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people approve, I guess, like, see that from it. Because I'll be honest, like, my biggest, like, art collector who collects, like, my artwork, he's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, and I've never even been to Pittsburgh, but, like, he's bought, like, my stuff, like, a lot. The money's come through, and I'm like, yo, all right, I'll ship it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, dude, and I've had that available here. I've had it in stores. I've had it in restaurants, and, like, nobody wanted it, you know?
You're like, make it make sense.
But you know what's wild? It's just like, it's one of those, like, if you come across somebody on social media, because obviously that's how you find people, you'll be like, you know what? I'm going to go grab that from that state, because nobody in this state is going to have it. Yeah. You know, so it might be one of those things too, you know?
Yeah.
But with that being said, let's go on a quick break, and we'll be right back.
And we are back. We all took like 2 shots.
I don't drink, bro.
I like water.
Yeah, that's what they say about like a little bit Bud White. No, but it's cool that we're able to talk off camera. I know, like, for the content, for people that want to listen, like, you guys are missing out on some crazy, like,
maybe
conversation.
We should start like
we should just start like
what is it called?
Keep the camera rolling or something.
Yeah,
or something.
And y'all gotta pay for that.
Like OnlyFans. I guess I don't. You don't want to say OnlyFans is for everything.
Okay, does Kid Cudi have something that starts with OF? Odd Future?
No, I think that's
Odd Future's Tyler, the Creator.
Oh, Tyler. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, because I saw a sticker today that said OF.
Yeah.
What comes to mind with that?
Oh, it depends. Wait, was it a donut?
It was a donut.
Yeah, it's Odd Future.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
I saw the sticker
like
and then
that.
I asked Chris, I'm like, well, why do y'all have an OF? And he's like, oh, it's Odd Future.
Yeah.
And then he told me, right? But obviously I didn't remember. And I was just like, oh, I thought it was OnlyFans. And he's like, M&M? So what are you thinking? And I'm like, I'm thinking OF means OnlyFans. But yeah, I guess it don't.
Yeah, nah, it's Odd Future. Hey, it's crazy. Did you see the whole Louis Vuitton thing with Tyler?
No, I saw they had it at Vogues recently. The Louis Vuitton like a fashion show or something.
At Post you said?
Oh yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't
It
know
was
that.
like a week or 2 weeks ago. Something.
Oh, wait,
wow.
yes,
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I
But
did.
you were saying about Tyler.
Yeah, like Tyler the Creator got, because Pharrell. Pharrell's the one that became the creative director, right?
Yeah.
Because it used to be Virgil.
Are you talking about for Off-White or?
No, for Louis Vuitton.
Oh, that's right, man.
Yeah, so
yeah.
because Virgil had Off-White,
Okay.
but then he became like the creative like director or something for Louis Vuitton. He passed, and then I think they gave it to Pharrell.
Yeah.
So Pharrell having these connections with music, Tyler the Creator was able to like design like a whole collection, and it's so dope, bro. Like it's like one of those like, all right, you think Louis Vuitton and it's like very high. What would you call it? Like luxury,
Yeah.
But then like you throw in Tyler, bro. Like Tyler is like he's wild, like.
Yeah.
But it's cool, like. I mean it in a good way, because he's like, one wouldn't think, like, let's say the people that were buying Louis Vuitton, like that are like high luxury people, they'd be like, what the hell, like Tyler the Creator is designing something, like But it's cool for the culture. It's cool for like the creatives that okay. His like the donut thing, like all these things, like he's able to that's his part of his brand, and he's able to bring it to another brand. It just kind of like put his twist to it, because I'm always talking about, I'm always saying, I'm like, man, if I ever had a shoe deal, or if I ever dropped a hat, it would have to have like my style on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like, so this is pretty dope. I don't know. It's just
No, that's cool. No, you brought up a good point though. Like I look up to a lot of like when I think of like, okay, you said Virgil Abloh. He used to be a graffiti writer. Before anything, so it's always like you look back on these artists, I'm like, oh man, they're working with this company, working with that, but like they came up with one thing. As a creative, like a lot of times we think we gotta have like 20, and like I got stuck in that too, But like when this was like being an artist with like no other option, I was like, all right, this has to work, right? And then eventually, like as I became a little bit more established, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm collabing with other artists, I'm collabing with other creatives. I got this guy, what I'm saying? Like for instance, I know you mentioned June, he's a barber, right? And it's like, and it's honestly, bro, like, and like he's doing big things.
Oh yeah,
and it's like,
at this point, he's not just a barber. Like,
think about it, And there's so many people who are in that category where it's like, okay, I'm an artist, or I paint walls, but yet I'm collabing, I'm doing work with like these different companies. Like I'll mention this, and like I said, like I've gotten a lot of slack, but I've been working with the company. Like we've been talking about the project we did for about a year, but Wednesday I'm going to Corpus because I did a piece for Starbucks, and they're opening up a store Wednesday or whatever, and so, but it's like, what I'm saying? Like that's a coffee company. Why are they working with an artist like me? So it's like you can't really, like for instance, like when you mentioned like the whole Louis Vuitton, it's like he was a rap, right? But it's like a lot of times like we try to put ourselves in boxes, like as a creative, I'm an artist. Oh, you can only do this, you can only do that. But to be honest, for as a creative, that's like its own world, bro. Like we can collab, we can do different things, and like when you think about that, man, like the opportunities are endless, to do different routes.
Yeah, because I remember I've been thinking about doing like this little series on Instagram talking about like behind the scenes of how things led to be, right? So I've met like different artists, and I kind of want to give the story behind how I started talking to them to the point where I met them, right?
Yeah.
And one of them was like this artist named Danny Lay.
Okay.
It was back in the day, and then she blew up, and then like she got signed, but now she's like independent, whatever. But I met her through her photographer, and he's yeah, that's like all he was, right? The photographer. He's the one that like, cause she became viral, you know, with when the Drake song, that Key.
Oh, okay, right. That's what's up.
That's how she became like viral, and then that's how she blew up. Her music blew up, and then he was the one who like recorded her, but then he went up with her as the photographer, right? So I got in contact with him just by reaching out, just like a straight DM, boom, boom, boom. You know, they were coming to Houston, and that's how I was able to meet her or whatever. Long story short, but
which is crazy. It was crazy because I remember we went to the concert and he took me and my sister to the concert, and then he was like, oh, if we wait a little bit longer, maybe we can meet her.
Oh,
and my sister was like, what? You know, and then my sister was a big fan. So then whenever we went backstage, like we were tipsy, and my sister was so happy.
She like fangirl, like,
But honestly, bro, like it's I never really talk about that story, but it's like, it's one of the stories that kind of made me feel like, oh shit, like I can make something happen, because it was all through art, you know. And I was like, oh, I could make something fucking work if I was able to. And I was take pride in it, kind of like oh, I didn't have to pay for a backstage, because that night a bunch of fans met her, you know. But they didn't meet her.
They paid full price.
I didn't meet her the same way they met her. Like no, like we went backstage, we kicked it with them for a little bit. Like it was more of a
we had to go to like a whole restaurant, kitchen.
But my thing is with that photographer, his name is Devad, and I remember he posted again, like when people post something, like I'll fucking screenshot that shit. But he posted it saying like, as a creative, you can do anything you want. So it's like, he's like, yeah, I'm a photographer, but I like music. I like making music. So then he started doing music. He's like, there's no rules that says like, I just gotta stick to shooting pictures.
Exactly.
You know? So it's like, that's why I like the whole creative aspect of it, bro. Like like nobody's gonna come in here and be like, oh, Rollie. That's why it's so hard, bro. Like they'll be like, oh, Ronnie, you're the podcaster, right? But then this person might know me as the graphic designer. This person might know me as the brand guy. You know, like there's so many hats that I wear, bro. Like, but it's like there's no. Nobody is like, oh, you just gotta be a podcaster. That's all you are. You know.
I feel like since we're talking about creativity, I think it's not like, oh, you gotta have your business, you gotta have a t-shirt, you gotta be an artist like me or whatever, you know. I think creativity is just like a characteristic, if that makes sense. Like, like I think, you know, a lot of people are like, oh man, I'm not creative, but I'm like, well, like, you know, when I say being a creative, it doesn't necessarily mean like I gotta
think outside the box, or
I would say that, so like, I mean, I think creative is like, say for instance, like a mom, right? A single mom. Well, she has to get creative to pay the bills. She started selling something on the side, like, hey, you know, flipping candy, doing this, doing that, like watching kids. Like, I think that's creative because she's using that mentality. It's almost like a muscle. Like, she's using that to make extra money, right? And I think from that, like, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not devaluing what the term creative means, but I think it's like a muscle, right? Like, we can't put a box in it, you know, being a creative. Like, I'm an artist, but I remember when I just had a pen and a paper, I would draw an envelope to my paper, and it grew from that, you know. And it's not necessarily, I think, just like that's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's more so a characteristic that you just kind of build on it, and you know, eventually get out of it.
I know we're like, this is the last segment that we're doing, but I had a question. Do you, whenever you do like a wall, or like you do a mural, are you like writing like all these symbols on there? Or not?
Oh yeah, so a lot of times, like, I do, it's like a doodle grid. So
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I do that a lot because like I try to be a perfectionist, like especially when you're doing portraits, like on a big scale. If I move the little pupil like just a little bit, it could look like crooked, right? And so I mean, I can sketch it, and I think I'm pretty good with it, but like on a large scale, I just wanted to be precise, or you know who it is, this and that. But it's called a doodle grid. So I'll do a bunch of doodles. I'll take a picture of the doodle, and then I'll put the picture I have on top, and then lower the opacity of it, and so I can see, okay, her eyes next to that letter and that, and so I can kind of sketch it on it. So it's like all like kind of like tracing. And then eventually I'll just start to like add the details, fill it in.
Because it's kind of better, right? Because I feel like, you know, normally it would be like on a grid,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Then
yeah.
I feel like the grids get confusing because then
Yeah.
like you know how kid books,
Yeah.
the kid they have like maybe like a like a nine square grid or whatever. So it'll be like, all right, it's easy. But once it's like a big mural and it's like, all right, you need more.
I
feel
know. Like, and how do you do it? Like, what's the easiest part to do? Like, when you're standing up and you can just do it, or when you're on a ladder, or when you're
you get on lifts and shit too.
I think the latter's a little bit more work for me. Because if I forget a can, I'm like, luckily, bro, I haven't broken any bones yet, but I've fallen off of like scaffolds, ladders. I fell, 12 feet one time from a ladder because it like slipped. And me like an idiot, like my leg like went between the legs and I felt like I sat there like 10 minutes, bro. I was just in there like making sure I wasn't moving my leg. All right, it's okay.
I'm creative.
But yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make it. And this was like early on too, dude. I thought, God dang, I need a job, right? But yeah, no, it comes with it. But honestly, I think it's easier if I could just stand up, do that. Lifts are cool, but it's just a lot of like moving, and if it starts raining,
bro, I love getting on lifts.
Yeah, yeah,
I love getting on lifts.
What about, do you get on the stepper thingies? What are they called? The ones where you put your feet and you just...
Stilts?
Yeah. I've seen those, and I'm like, I don't think I need them, because I'll just, if it's like that much, I'll just get on a ladder.
Yeah.
So.
Dang, so you own a ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. What's one of the biggest pieces you've done? Like,
Yo, I did one, 2 weeks ago, dude. It was one in Beaumont. It's like, I don't know.
So you're going to send us a picture.
Yeah.
Show us a picture.
Okay, yeah, I have that one, but dude, it was like 150 feet long, and it's like almost like 30 feet high. So, I mean, it seems like, it doesn't seem that much, but dude, like it's a lot of paint to cover that. And then on top of that, like I'm sure but like a brick, it's super, like it's never been painted on. It's not like the brick that like kind of connects, like it's kind of flat. It's like grooves in there. It's like, so you gotta spray it in there. Like if I did it with the roller, it's gonna be like,
so do you like prime like the whole wall beforehand or what?
So they have these people prime it, right? But if it's like a bare brick, I do prime it with like a masonry primer, which it kind of like bonds to it's super boring, but like I have to know that stuff so it can last.
You gotta fill the holes too, no? If the walls might have like some like grooves or you don't.
Sometimes, yeah. Like the paint that I use also has primer, but I still prime it anyways. Like I'll prime it on there and then I'll put the paint with the primer that's already mixed in there with it. So it's a lot to it, but it's still kind of hard because you never know.
I was gonna ask you do the bricks that have like the space.
Dude, yeah, like that's not my favorite. I want like a flat wall, so it's like almost like paper, right? Yeah, those are some of the best things to paint on. So I paint a lot of that extra, right? You see how it's like all flush and crisp, and I love painting on that, But a lot of times, like,
so you've done a lot of that extra.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Chris and his team out there, dude. They do a lot, man. When I talk about like you think about it, like you look at their calendar. Like I think they had comedy night.
They've been adding a lot.
Today, I think they're having a good night, dude. I wish my wife danced for, otherwise he'd be there right now. But dude, like they're doing a lot for the community. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like it's just we need more people who are doing that and just so like, hey, let's just do what you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like I think that's how we're gonna push the culture in our city. So
we're supposed to have Chris on, but it never happened.
Well, yeah, he can.
We're supposed to reach out.
I'll talk to him. I'll talk.
Now we're gonna see him.
Yeah, because we were supposed to go to the Christmas party, but we couldn't go.
We couldn't go to the
Christmas party. But we're gonna go. Was for hip hop. Yeah.
We'll be there.
Oh, next week. That's
Sunday.
Okay. I'll see if I'll pull up. Y'all know him, right? Y'all talk.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Just tell him, hey, Floyd painting your son out there, right? Y'all seen that? It's like at Bad It's his little boy with the spacesuit. He's like,
oh, really?
That's his little boy.
That's you who did that, though?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
So just tell him I painted it.
That's super dope.
Whenever you do, like you're out there, like I should show you on the vlog or whatever.
Yeah.
Those walls, like who provides that?
That's my buddy, Nikki. Shout out Nikki Davis. It's crazy. I thought I was gonna shout him out anyway. So, but yeah, no. He every year he has like a Spray City like art festival. So he like right now I think this year he brought in like some of the hard hitters or like some of the artists here in the city. And every year we paint it white. We just bring other artists. So I think this past year we brought out an artist from Chicago. And I think it's gonna grow bigger, and that's kind of what I mean. I keep going in circles, bro. But like, Like, I think we're kind of on the cusp of doing that because we're bringing in other artists, like, from, like, how do I say it? Like, I think this year we're trying to bring in other artists from other cities, and it's not weird. I'm just a part of it, right? But like we're doing that with every month we're having the Spray City Walls battles. Like we have artists go against other artists, and the way they win is like through like the votes of like the dollars, and so it's super dope, man. And I'm excited to be like kind of in that.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not like I was gonna bring that up to you, like if, to see if like you were ever down to do something like that. But it's good that you're already a part of it because whenever I was talking to June, he was telling me about like Clipper Beast and all that, right? And he was like, yeah, bro, like you know, I do one every like. So he has a whole calendar. And he's like, in December's gonna be the big one, bro. You know, and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, and obviously, like that, there's some income in that, you know, like in, you know, throwing these events and stuff like that. And I'm like, whenever I talked to him and I came home, I told her, I'm like, you know, like talking to June, I was like, why can't I do some shit like that for like graphic designers or something like this? Like that's a whole like just barber community, like these battles, these things, you know, and I'm like, I could do something like
Definitely, yeah.
but I don't know what, I don't know how, but it could happen.
Yeah.
You know, like where it's like I'm suddenly like having these people fly in from all parts of the world like to battle in this certain whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy you bring that up because I don't know if you plan on doing like the graphic design like on tees, but that'd be pretty cool too if you did something. Because I know I did something where it was like 3 ways. So like the way you'll win, so that way like it prevents like cheating. Mm-hmm. So the way you'll win is like, all right, I created a design for a t-shirt, right? Yeah. So each time somebody bought a t-shirt was a vote, right? Oh, I got a vote. So a lot of people bought my shirt, so it helped with like the whole voting, but it also counted like with the money that I spent, or like the money people voted in my bucket, like physically, and it counted with the shirts. And then we have like 2 like anonymous judges, like people are like, oh, this stuff is dope, he won. Mm. Right, so it kind of helps that. So it's crazy you bring that up, like with the whole graphic, because maybe that could be something where like, hey, who the person who wins will be the person who people bought the shirt the most, or that they you know, say they bought that at the time more. It comes with, I mean, don't list for me. It's just a brainstorm.
No, yeah, bro. It's a lot of brainstorming before you get to like a something. A dialed in. Like
at least it starts somewhere, bro. It has to start somewhere.
And that's with the podcast. We were in Cougars, and it just was like, we should do a podcast.
And then look at you guys in like 100 episodes.
I don't even know. Honestly,
what am I number 103 or what?
Nah, we're past.
I think we're like 120 maybe.
Oh,
120.
I don't have my phone. Let me see.
I could check you up. You can do a check. But yeah, no, we're up there. Sometimes I'm like, oh shit. But there's other podcasts like that I watch.
What's going on? I thought my mom was mad at me.
There's other what can they? Oh, I was gonna say what can I? There's some like podcasts that I watch that are like kind of the same.
120. Because he's the one dropping after ours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're 120.
Yeah. Does that number mean anything to you?
I'm gonna
find a meaning for it.
Yeah, because sometimes we used to give like them, like our guests, the numbers, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's my number," blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah.
I'll find a scripture.
Like capital was 120.
And then watches if it drops, he's 120.
They're like, when I took the leap, I only had $120 in my pocket. You know, like wow.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you this one story, bro. Now you bring it up. No, like I'm not trying to say anything, dude, but like, all right. So when I first started, like one of the first murals I did was of this film girl. I knew the officer in Freeport, like Texas.
Okay.
So like I said, when I first started, I was just looking for walls to just do, and so I did this one mural of this little girl, Abigail. You guys might have heard of her. She was like this cancer survivor. She was a young girl, and she ended up passing away. And like her story is like amazing because she did a lot like with her little life and stuff. And so anyways, like I painted a mural. I talked to the police officer because he was the one that was helping her get these, you know, like make an impact. And so he's like, hey dude, like let's, you know. And so he gave me a wall and I painted her, and the family came out, the news, and it was like a big deal, you know. And I kind of didn't want nothing from it. I just kind of wanted to show, hey, like honor her and stuff, you know. And I didn't know, but they were raising money, right? Like outside of like what I knew. And so, anyways, when you're a police officer, you get a badge, right? So she became a police officer and all that stuff, right? Like, and she was young, right? Like they inducted her, and I think her number was 8. Anyway, it was like 840 or 57, one of those, right? It was super specific, like the number. And I mean, I feel bad, I don't remember it, but anyways, like they were raising money. And check this out. Whenever, like, I didn't have no idea, but he came up to me like, yo, check this out. I counted the money. It's 800 and like the same amount of number as their batting number. And like nobody, like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you look at those little things and it's like, all right, there's something to this, you know, like nobody can write stuff like that.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I feel like there's been times that something happens to me and I'm just like, how, you know, like it makes you think, like, really,
and,
you know? And
I'll throw in a little plug, man. I'm not trying to throw my faith, but I mean, but a lot of where I'm at today is because of my faith, you know, like I believe there is somebody, you know, I believe there is a God and that he kind of like kept me in this direction for a reason. You know?
Yeah, so
you know?
I mean, we're Catholics, so we believe like in God a lot. So.
Definitely. Yeah, we need to go back to church, but it's like, but I don't want to go to. No, but it's like it's one of those like no, like as long as like if you're you don't go to physically go to church, but I feel like she can say for me she can say like nah, he has the faith because I do have the faith, bro, and I it's a lot like put it in his hands, you know, put it in God's hands, like things are gonna work out.
Getting money comes away if you're like thanking God.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, like my bestie, like you know, my son, bro, like he'll hear like the little ching, whatever on the phone, and he'll be like, oh, we got money, and like, that's but yeah, bro, it's like you gotta have that.
Yeah, that's a part of it, bro.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like, you know, just kind of figuring it out on my own, bro. I'm like, but it's like little moments like that have happened to me. Another time was like the whole Uvalde thing, that the way that went about, bro. Like I was fortunate enough to be like one artist like that. I mean, it was me and my buddy who does Jesse Daldiano. Shout out to him. He paints the Astros murals. So we literally just met. I want to say like we literally met when I was doing the Rockets mural, and then he was doing the Texas mural like down the street, and so we were like, oh, okay, cool. And then I met him. I only known him like 2 days, and then I met him at the art store. Like, we're just there, and I'm picking up cans, and he's like, "Yo, like, do you do portraits?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I do." And he's like, "You want to go to Uvalde with me?" And I'm like, "Bro, I just met you like 2 days ago, dude. Like, and we're trying to go to Uvalde." He's like, and he explained to me like it's like, you know, one of the little boys like we're doing, and that was a big deal too, like for that community. Because they don't have like movie theaters, they don't have this.
It's like a small town.
It's super small. I don't know if you guys been there, but the whole city's covered with murals of those kids. And luckily, me and my buddy, the reason why he asked me is because he's doing the Texan mural, I'm doing the Rockets mural. And in the middle of that, like we have deadlines, and he's like, "Bro, the only way I can do it is if I have somebody help me with the portrait." And I'm like, "All right." And so I think about that too, because like I could have been so stingy and been like, "Nah, dude, like I got to hear the Rockets mural," you know. Mm-hmm. But it's like the impact, and I mean, we got taken care of, but we didn't get paid for it. It was just something we went and just did because we're artists. And Ben, I got to talk to his mother, you know, about Andy, and like I said, like that kind of shifted my perspective as to what I'm doing. And I know I seem real passionate about what I do, but it's because of that. I've seen the power that being a muralist, being an artist, being a creative, I've seen what it has on people like who don't have that, you know, like for her to just kind of be like, oh my god, like that's his jacket, he wore that the last day, and all this stuff, and it's like yo, bro, and like my buddy designed it, and I just helped her, but he put like the Pokemons on there and everything, and she's like, oh, that's his favorite Pokemon. He had his cards that day in his backpack, and like, you know, like stuff like that, bro. It makes an impact. And like the whole point I was trying to say that though is just like stuff like that happens when you least expect it, but it's like you gotta kind of be in that moment, because I gotta been like, nah, I'm good, bro. I got the rocket scene. I don't want to do that, but yeah, that family, like it helped them grieve a lot through that, you know.
No, yeah,
and
for
it's,
sure.
I don't know. I'm kind of spitting or whatever, but yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's like it's good that you share that, because sometimes it's like not even for the people to know, but for you to remember that you did something like that. And you know what I mean?
It's crazy too, because I think about it, and like it just happened like I'm gonna say a month and a half before we went there. We came bureaus, and shout out to Monica and Abel, he's in Uvalde, he's one of the artists, man. but he kind of organized all that. And it's crazy because I think about it and I'm like, yo, like in a time like that, like there was people like when we were painting, they were in front of the murals of their family, like the families are in front of the murals of their kids who passed, and their dancing, celebrating. I'm like, it's such a dark time, but yeah, like murals and stuff like that, bro, like are making people happy, dance, and it's wild. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, I can't.
No, that's cool, bro. Like I like hearing stories like that because it's like definitely adds like way more like just passion to like what you do. You know, it's not just like oh that's a cool little whatever. Girl, you know, but it's like
I'm getting a paid gig.
It's cool to have like those obviously the work that pays bills and stuff, and then like the stuff that you're doing like out of the kindness of your heart. You know?
Exactly. So, I think that's what attracts people. Like and honestly, that's what attracted me to you guys because like. You guys are real passionate, you know, and I'm not saying that just to like y'all can, but like that's contagious, you know. Like I've been doing this 3 years, I'm already at a point where it's like, all right, okay, is this all? You know, is this what's next? And then when I hear like y'all's podcast and I hear like, yo, the excitement, the plans you have, and I'm like, yo, that gets me excited. Like, yo, I can do, you know what I'm saying? And so it's
always good to surround yourself with like-minded people, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, another reason why we love our podcast because it's just like talking to you, you know, to our other guests, and it's just like we feed off each other.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And how are you? You're like, you're gonna feed yourself, but sometimes feeding from each other also like helps.
Yeah.
Under the water.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see. There's something else, but
go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. With that being said, real quick, I just want to say, I hope.
What?
That's recording.
Oh my god.
Is that
right?
Oh
my god.
So it's all good, bro. We apologize. I'm gonna keep all this in. Like I'm gonna try to say that I saw it. I'm not gonna lie, and I was like, I'm not even gonna say nothing. You know, but again, we're already like.
Is something recording?
Huh?
Is something recording?
Nothing. No. Well, this last part.
Segment,
okay.
Yeah. Everything else recorded. This one's gonna sound far away, like I was saying.
So when you were talking about Uvalde and stuff, I was like, I looked and I'm like, it's not recording. But I'm not even saying nothing.
Come on, Evelyn.
Why is it me? I literally
that's their job, babe.
I shed a tear for nothing.
So I mean, I'm gonna try to save it. I could do like the AI audio or whatever.
You got it like that, dude.
But I've done it before. I've done it before where I can
blame it on them because we went on break and then I left and came back twice and they were still talking. So then I came back and sat down and I forgot.
So regardless, like if I'm not able to save this for you guys, you know, my apologies. But
the audio's still gonna be there though.
Yeah, but the camera audio. But I don't even have the good mic on there.
Oh my god, I'm sorry guys.
But I'm gonna try to like save the audio.
We could run it back, bro.
Or run it back. I don't know, but if anything, thank you guys for watching the podcast. We appreciate you coming on, bro. Like it means a lot.
For sure.
Just going through and learning more about you, honestly. Like, cause that's pretty dope. And the times that we've seen you, like, on the like.
Yeah, because we saw you at June's event.
Yeah, seeing you at June, seeing you like at hip hop. I'm like, I don't know. I gravitated towards like your artwork, bro. Like it's like I noticed you. Like it's like
I'm not a real talkative person, bro. Like
it is crazy because I did see your when we were there. We're like, oh my god, that's why it's in the vlog, right?
Okay,
yeah. But it's crazy because I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Like
that's what's going on. So other than that,
I'm sorry, guys.
But
it's all good.
No, appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it means a lot.
Yeah,
and other than that, much love. That's
Bye,
it.
guys. Peace.
Cheers.